Good morning, everyone. My name is Archibald Gordon. I'm Director of Marketing and Communications here at the Caribbean Maritime University. Welcome to Section 4, Day 4, or Edition 4, I would say, of the CMU Getting Ready series. And today we're talking about all issues related to student services. If you have on your microphone at this point, please, as you come to the room, please close your microphone so you do not disturb the folks who are here. So today we're going to be hearing from the representatives of the Office of Student Affairs here at the Caribbean Maritime University. First of all, thank you so much for joining us. We know you have other choices in terms of where you spend your money, and we're really happy that you're here with us at the CMU and that you decided to be a part of the CMU. The colleagues are here from the Office of Student Affairs, and as always, we have representatives of the Office of the University Registrar, and it's really an initiative of the Office of the University Registrar alongside the Office of Marketing and Communications. So anything that you want to ask in relation to student affairs, this is your opportunity to ask it. And at the end of that as well, we're going to be opening the floor. So if you have questions about applications and admissions, there are representatives from the Office of University Registrar who are in the chat, who are in the room, and they will be able to answer some of those questions. At the same time, as you go along, you can put questions in the chat. There are representatives of the Office of Student Affairs, as well as representatives of different CMU departments, and they'll be in the chat. So if you put your questions or comments as you go along, people will be able to respond to them. So the flow or format is the same as previous editions of the CMU Getting Ready series. So first, we have some brief presentations, and then we open the floor for all of your questions so they can be responded to, and then we close. Really brief presentations from 3 persons today. We're going to be hearing from Mr. Stephan Williams in charge of sports at the CMU. We're going to be hearing from Mickasha Hyde in charge of clubs and societies from the Office of Student Affairs, and we're going to be hearing from Damain Ellis in terms of student benefits, which are available here at the CMU. And without further ado, let me just hand over to Mr. Stephan Williams, and he'll take you through the sporting aspect of the CMU. And then we will hear from Mickasha and then from Damain. Stephan?
Good morning, students. Pleasure to meet you guys, and I'm looking forward to all your endeavors, especially in sports. So we're going to dive right into it. We want to look at the different sporting activities that we offer at CMU. First and foremost, we offer 10 different sporting activities: netball, basketball, rugby, volleyball, football, swimming, rowing, hockey, fencing, and last but not least, cheerleading. All right, so our sports program are important in maintaining equilibrium amongst stakeholders. We want our students to get the opportunity to enjoy a well-rounded university lifestyle. So you have your academics, in which you guys know that it's very important. Also, we have the sports that you guys can take part in, which will offer maintaining that equilibrium which is needed, for a well-rounded university lifestyle students. All right, so CMU's annual competitions and activity as it relates to sports. There's the Jamaica Intercollegiate sports competitions, which is probably the most popular one at this tertiary level. We go up against other colleges such as UWI, GC Foster, Michael, UTech, you name it. Also, the Greg Garrell knockout football competition, which is probably one of the more high-intensity sports competitions that is offered at the university. And a quick did you know feature, we have been to the finals, the last 2 finals of the Greg Garrell knockout football competitions. We've just not managed to do so well, but we actually went to the finals. We just haven't won that trophy as yet. Also, we have the cheerleading World University Games, which we have went to 3 times, and we have been very successful each time, with several international cheerleading awards. Also, we have our CMU annual sports day, which is typically a very high energetic university atmosphere experience, which we encourage all our student athletes and our university participants to take part in. Right. Moving on. Look at a few of the achievements that we spoke about. We spoke about the cheerleading. We won the Division II football championships in 2017 and 2018. We were intercollegiate netball semifinalists in 2018 as well. World University cheerleading champions, ranked 4th in the world. Also, we were intercollegiate champions in 2018 in the hockey competition. So we have a very good hockey program here at CMU, which we managed to improve year after year. And let me add as well, team, we had a very, very talented individual who worked track and field, and he came second in the 100-meter finals of the Intercollegiate Track Championships. As it relates to rugby, we have won 4 titles in 2 years. We are 2 times intercollegiate 9 champions, and we have won 2 separate club competitions that we took part in. All right, so we are moving on. So, sports that we want to engage in for upcoming activities, right? For this upcoming academic year, 2020 to 2021, especially for the first semester, we want to engage our students in swimming activities, and the sports unit is able to organize and execute learn to swim programs and water confident programs at the National Aquatic Center, or the YMCA Center for Swimming. We also indulge in online training sessions. So this is really a continuation of what we did last year, where we engage all of our student athletes, and by extension, our students who are interested in sports, on an online platform for sports, where we discussed various activities. We did sports psychologists webinars. We looked at theory aspects in sports, rules and regulations that govern certain sports, which a lot of athletes are sometimes unaware of. So we did look at those things. And for the students who will be on campus, we will be having on-campus cardio and weightlifting sessions coming up for the upcoming semester, sorry. So these are some ways in which we are looking to engage in our student activities. We'll be also having electronic sports games for students who would like to take part in those. Also a continuation of last year, we did online chess programs where the different bachelor groups took part against each other. We also had FIFA games, which was probably one of the most popular ones. Even we had a wide variety of females who took part in that competition. Also, we did domino games. And quickly, let us look at how do I get to take part in a sporting activity? How do I get to CMU? Procedure includes completing an online registration form. Also, we have a physical copy of the registration form for those who will be on campus for the upcoming semester. So visit the sports department and we will provide students with that registration form. For those who will be classes online but still want to take part in sports, we have you guys covered. We have a system in place where we will send you the information, the registration information, you fill out the information and send it back to us and we get it started from there. But it is very important that students register before taking part in the sporting disciplines. All right, so we have two sports coordinators, myself, Stephan Williams, and Miss Jack, Stacy and Jack, also sports coordinator. And you can contact us via email at emails that I have provided. So we have sjack@cmu.edu.jm. Also myself, stwilliams@cmu.edu.jm. We also have a sports@cmu.edu.jm, which can be used as well. So students write down this information so that for the upcoming semester, if you want to take part in sports, we can communicate and we take it from there. Gordon?
Sorry, thank you, Stephan. There are a couple of questions in the chat, just quickly. There's a question here first. Like how it's COVID time, this is Dualia Taylor saying, will you be having any physical meetings or is everything, single thing strictly online?
So we will be having a blended environment. So it will be for those who are on campus, we will meet on campus for those who are on campus. And persons who have classes online, we will be having an online platform.
Okay, I think there's a second question as well, or perhaps who needs a little bit of an explanation. Moisha is asking, can girls play football?
Football?
Yes.
We have dabbled with the chance of having girls playing football. It is definitely something that we're looking into, but there isn't any decision made yet as it relates to female football competition, but it is something that we're looking into.
So, I mean, perhaps part of the answer is saying that if you can find 11 players,
yes,
then you wouldn't be averse to it. It's not that we have a problem with, you just don't necessarily have right now a large interest to enter a competition. But if you have 11 players, then, you know, you're open.
That's it.
Donald Elliott was asking if you had said cricket as well.
We don't have a cricket program right now. However, it is one of the areas that we are currently looking into to find ways in which we can develop a program. We have some challenges. Number one challenge, area for training. So that has been one of the number one reasons why we haven't done cricket as yet. But it is on our agenda to look on the possibilities of possibly taking part in cricket. A lot of students have
go ahead.
Showed interest in wanting to play cricket and take part in that. So it's definitely something that we're looking forward to see how best we can embark in basically.
Giannine Lewis, Giannine, I hope I'm pronouncing the name correctly, says, how would swimming or cheerleading go, especially now in the COVID period? Would you still be having practice for
the cheerleading, it is a high contact sport. For now, where COVID is concerned, we're not taking part. As it relates for the swimming, we will tailor the numbers. We will tailor the numbers to a limited amount per session, right? So we will look at, as I said before, a limited amount of students per swim session. So there is actually a cap to the amount of students we can engage in the swimming activity.
Problem there. Melia Tolo says her question here is, what if we had to pick a club, but we didn't pick a sport? can we still get to pick a sport?
Sure. I mean, as I stated before, university lifestyle is, being well-rounded. So you want to can manage your academics properly and take part in clubs and society if that's what you wish, and also take part in sports. So there's nothing saying, there's no regime that says students can't take part in sports and club activities. We've had that.
Just pick up the opportunities when they come. And if you want the information, you can email Mr. Williams. It's stwilliams@cmu.edu.jm. Miss Jack, it's sjack, Jack, at cmu.edu.jm. Or it may be easier as well just to remember sports@cmu.edu.jm.
Here's what I found.
There's a question here, Romain saying, is there a track and field program? I think you addressed this, but can you just, he might have joined a little late.
All right, let me elaborate on the track and field program a bit. We had stopped track and field for 2 years. Reason being, we wanted to revamp the program. We wanted to look at ways in which we can create a more competitive environment for a track program, so that when we go to intercollegiate games and other track program games, that we can be competitive. So we did some background work on ways in which we can improve. So as soon as it is possible for us to take part in track and field, we will definitely have that program up and running. So it's on our to-do list, and we're actively, working, in the background, making it better, finding a location for training, looking at ways to strengthen the program so that when we go there, we can be just as good or even better than our competitors, our top competitors, the GC Foster, the UTech, the Micro. That's what we're aiming at.
All right. And you yourself, in fact, also performed that in track and field at the collegiate level, along with other courses, along with other sports.
Yes.
All right. So Tasana Francis is saying, is it mandatory that you have to pick a club or a sport? Do you have to pick one or the other?
No, it's not mandatory. It's not mandatory. It's something that adds to your university experience. It's a more well-rounded individual. It's not mandatory.
When you join the meeting, please mute your microphone so that you don't disturb people as you go along. I think those are all the questions I've seen so far related to sport. Well, there's one here, Shamar Bogo saying, is there a boxing program?
No, we currently don't take part in the only high contact sport that we take part in currently is rugby league. Don't have we started a boxing program maybe 2-3 years ago, but it's currently dormant, inactive, and we currently don't have any plans to pursue that option.
What about badminton? This question from Jarrell Hendricks asking, is there a badminton club? Is that an area of interest as well?
There has definitely been interest in badminton and racket sports. There has definitely been interest in certain racket sports such as table tennis and badminton. And it is something that we're looking into, but there's no finalization. But there's a high student interest, and we see where it's possible, and we get the go-ahead. It is something that we can definitely look into for future.
Okay, all right. So I think those are all the sports-related questions. I'm seeing some other questions in the chat. There are members, as I said, of the registry staff who are there. I know that Mr. Williams needs to make space for the other members of the department who are going to make their presentation. So first of all, let me just remove that spotlight from you so we can do that a little tidily. And in the meantime, there are some questions in the chat. There are members of the other teams here who can address some of those issues right there. There's a question here, but still haven't heard. Let me remove the spotlight so you can change over. Thank you so much, Stephan. You can change over to Mickasha in the meantime, and we can hear about clubs and societies. In a moment, we're going to take a couple of other questions in the meantime while we're making the transition to the next presentation. Is going to be from Mickasha Hyde. That's going to be on clubs and societies. Stephan's also going to be in the chat. If you have any questions, you can still ask them. Brooke, your hand is up. Open your microphone. Go ahead, please. Brooke? Not hearing Brooke? All right, I'm having a little bit of trouble right there hearing Brooke. I hope folks are hearing me as well. There's a question here generally. It says, still haven't heard anything on whether there's a deadline to submit the college application. All the information about applications, you can find them on cmu.edu.jm. Brittany, there was a question, your question in the chat that says, is there an active track and field team? Mr. Stephan Williams just saying a moment ago that they're trying to revamp that team. That work is underway to ensure that that team is much more competitive overall. I think those are two of the questions in the chat. Let me see if there's any other. The college application, Michaela, scale, that information right there. You can find that information, cmu.edu.jm. When you open the page, there'll be a big pop-up, and that pop-up will take you through the process you need. If you have a question about your application, etc., remember the representatives of the Office of the University Registrar are in the chat. Just drop whatever note you want or whatever question you have, and they will respond to you in the chat. So really happy to have our next presenter on hand with us. Time for presentation number 2. It's going to be on CMU Clubs and Societies. So it's now over to Mickasha Hyde. Welcome, Mickasha.
Thank you, Mr. Gordon. Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to have me this morning, and I'll be speaking briefly on our Clubs and Societies unit. All right, so a brief overview of the Clubs and Societies unit. This unit is geared towards helping our students gain knowledge, skill, and experience in leadership, communication, problem solving, group development, management, finance, presentation, and public speaking. Students will feel the change and will grow faster than you think. All right, so we have a few objectives listed here. One of our objectives is to ensure that students' life outside of academic requirements and procedure can still be engaging and interacting using the online platform as well as using sessions. Another objective is to ensure that all clubs and societies processes are accessible to students whilst using the online platform or using improving students' cognitive development as well as the ability to work together as a team in different formats. These are a list of all the clubs that we have available here at the Caribbean Maritime University. As you can see, we have 24 clubs, which the list goes on. We have our Rotaract, CMU Leads, Red Cross, tutorials. For the tutorials, we have our engineering faculty, our logistics, as well as our customs. The UCCF, which is the University and Colleges Christian Fellowship, CMU Mandarin, CMU Creative Arts, CMU French, Circle K International, Environmental and Sustainability, the Literary Art, should be literary, sorry, Art, Public Speaking and Debating Society, the League of Maritime Leaders or Robotics Club, Tourism Action Club, CMU MOVA, the Youth Volunteerism Initiative or UCAM Club, the IEEE, which is our engineering club, the Business Building Society or Call to Lead Jamaica Club, CMU Chessmate, CMU Domino, Society of Industrial Engineers, and our CMU Fencing Club. For the upcoming academic year, we have a list of activities projected for our students, which is our Clubs and Societies registration drive, or Clubs and Societies week. Well, the Clubs and Societies week is where students, the clubs will get the opportunity to promote themselves, informing students of what their the club really entails, when they meet, and what is their requirement to join the club, right? We have our inter-club quiz competition. This is a club competition which is initiated by the Students' Union, right, in collaborative with the Clubs and Societies unit. We normally put on this competition where the different clubs get to, answer to quiz questions, maybe from the logistics faculty, engineering, as well as the customs faculty. We have our Culture Day, which is also something that is initiated by the Students' Union. This is where we, tend to promote the different culture that we have here at the Caribbean Maritime University, and that we wish, to have or to endorse here. Sorry. Some of the frequently asked questions that students may have when they want to join a club or society is, how do I join a club, right? Step 1, identify and select the club or society you wish to join from the list provided. Step 2, send an email to the clubs or society of your choice, or to the clubs and society at cmu.edu.jm expressing your interest. Step 3, you will receive a welcome message after doing so, along with other information and procedures. Another question is, can I join multiple clubs or society? Yes, you can. Once you learn how to manage your time carefully, there's no problem in doing so. Do I have to join a club or society? No, it's not mandatory for you to join a club or society, but we highly recommend that you do so because of the great opportunities that can be garnered and the possible benefits you can derive from in your involvement. You may even consider starting your own. How can I start a new club or society? So there are 3 simple steps. Step 1, send an email to the clubs and society at cmu.edu.jm expressing your interest in starting your own club or society. Step 2, an email will be sent back to you with a proposal template for you to complete and return via email. Step 3, after the proposal has been assessed and approved, a confirmation email will be sent with further instructions outlining all procedures. This is the Clubs and Societies unit contact information. If you have questions, you can email the Clubs and Societies coordinator, which is myself, Mickasha Hyde. The email is listed here, Clubs and Societies. And you can also use my other email, which is mhyde@cmu.edu.jm. My CUG is also listed on the platform, which is 876-331-9316. If there's any concerns, you can feel free to call also. That's the end of my presentation. Thank you for having me, and I will take any questions.
All right, so if there are any questions, thanks, Mickasha. So if there are any questions in relation to clubs and societies, please, you can raise your hand right now and ask those questions in the chat, or you can drop a question in the chat rather, or you can raise your hand and ask a question face to face. Mickasha is here. Other members of the team from the Office of Student Affairs are here, and other members of the team from the Office of the University Registrar rather are here. Not seeing any questions in relation to clubs and societies, but again, you can reach Mickasha at mhyde at cmu.edu.jm. I'm getting that right? That's mhyde at cmu.edu.jm. There's also clubs and societies at cmu.edu.jm. So we're going to be hearing, thanks, Mickasha. So we're going to be hearing from the third presenter this morning, and then we're going to be opening the floor for questions. Sorry, is there a question? Okay. All right, so remember, mute your microphone as you come on. We have a third presentation that we're about to do. We're going to be hearing from Damain, Ellis. He's going to be talking about student benefits. So what are the things that you can get from the CMU? What are the sorts of student benefits that are available, and how can you go about accessing them? So we'll be hearing from Damain in a second. In the meantime, again, any information you need on tuition, on fees, etc., you can find that on the CMU page itself. That's cmu.edu.jm. Any information about programs, entry requirements, or fees for each year, or fees in relation to auxiliary fees or particular fees that you need to pay, or scholarship opportunities which are also available, or financial support opportunities. Those are all on the CMU page. That's cmu.edu.jm. And you can look on the admissions, under the admissions tab specifically, for any kind of information in relation to this. We're going to be hearing from Damain in a second. I have some questions from Abigail. Abigail, I see your questions. Since they're not in relation to the student affairs matters, well, there's one here that says that as I'm an M engineering student, are yacht club and swimming club available? Stephan, are you there? There's a question here. I'm an engineering student. Are yacht club and swimming club available to those students?
Mr. Williams stepped out for a few. He should be back shortly.
All right, so Mr. Williams will answer your question in a second. Remember, you can also send that by email. His email is stwilliams@cmu.edu.jm. You can also inquire specifically of Stacey and Jack. It's sjack, J-A-C-K, at cmu.edu.jm. And remember, there's also an email called sports@cmu.edu.jm. So Damain, we're going to be hearing our third presentation now from Damain Ellis in relation to the welfare unit at the CMU. So Damain, take it away.
Before Damain comes,
sure.
I think there are two questions in the chat
I'm missing.
that needs to be responded to. So Stacey will answer the question regarding the swim club, and Miss Hyde will answer the question about uniforms for clubs.
Okay. You're hearing from Tisha Walker-Brown, by the way. She's Assistant Director of Student Affairs here at the CMU. So the representatives of that office are here answering your question. So Stacey Ann, you're going to answer the first question in relation to the yacht club.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Stacey Ann Jack, and I'm the female sports coordinator here at the CMU. In regards to the question of a swimming club, yes, we do have a swim club that trains at the National Stadium. In regards to the yacht club, we don't have a yacht club available at the moment.
Gordon, you're muted.
talking away like I'm talking of a storm and I'm muted. Yes. So you say swimming club is available, and if you want to participate, they email you or they email sports@cmu.edu.jm.
All right, so Mr. Gordon, as it relates to the question about uniforms for clubs, if it's required, it's not a formal requirement. However, if the clubs decide that they would like to venture into making their own shirts and maybe would like to do, you know, off-site activities, they might need their shirts. That's up to the club to decide. So when the students join the club, then they will know if it is a requirement for them to wear their club shirt.
But it's not a requirement at the CMU level.
No.
Okay. Any other questions? Abigail heard the question, but she was asking about yacht. Abigail, I think that second part was answered right there. Are there any other comments I'm missing in this group in relation to student affairs? I see some of the other comments. We're going to be addressing them later on. We're not ignoring them. If there are any issues in relation to student affairs, please put them in the chat or use the raise hand feature and raise your hand. Representatives of the Office of Student Affairs. Yes? Someone trying to talk? Okay, all right, cool. So time to hear from Mr. Ellis. Damain, take it away.
All right, Archie. Hello, everyone. Good morning. Are you seeing me? Is everyone seeing or hearing me clearly?
Yes, sir.
All right, good. Are you seeing my shared screen?
Yes.
All right, great. All right, so welcome, everyone. Thank you for having me this morning. My name is Damain Ellis, and I am the acting welfare coordinator or officer in the Office of Student Affairs. All right, today I'll be presenting to you a few things and about the operations that we have here in the Office of Student Affairs Welfare Unit. All right, so we're going to discuss the Earn and Learn program, special lunch assistance, PATH, bursary tertiary grant, and the health benefits. All right. So starting off with the Earn and Learn program. So this is a student assistance program that is offered by the university to all its students. The program allows our students to work on campus and gain valuable work experience while earning a stipend. All right. We open for applications each semester, and the processing period is usually shared on our social media platforms with the assistance of the marketing team. The selection criteria to be met is 25 out of 50 score, so that is a 50%. And all our important notices and briefings are for students are posted via email, right? The special lunch assistance program is a lunch program that is available to all our students. It provides one meal per day, 3 times per week for the qualified students. We open for application at the beginning of each semester. Applications are also available at the Office of Student Affairs or online via the link provided during the application period. Our PATH bursary grant is a grant that is offered by the Ministry of Finance and Social Security. The grant is for $100,000 towards the university or college tuition, and the application process is managed by the welfare unit within Office of Student Affairs, while the selection is managed by the Ministry of Labor and Social Security, sorry. Application usually opens in August and closes at the end of October each school year. The application forms can be accessed online, or you can simply send an email to us. I will share that email with you shortly. Send an email to us at Student Affairs requesting that application form. So the selection criteria for the PATH bursary grant is a 2.5 GPA or above, and the student must be registered with the PATH program during high school and should have an active family number. So the disbursement is done in February by the Ministry of Labor and Social Security, and fund is sent to the university treasury, and that fund is usually sent to the student's account thereafter. All right. So health benefits, we have two things stated under this benefit. We have the health cards and we have the accidental death and dismemberment. So these are covered under your auxiliary fee. So once you pay your auxiliary fee, these services are accessible to you. All right, so it requires a completion of an application form during the registration process for new students. All returning students are automatically added to the benefit each year after completing the registration process. So the health cards covers an array of benefits. It also covers doctor visits, to name a few, and prescriptions. It is issued at the reception desk at the Office of Student Affairs. And if you try to access a service using your health card and you experience any form of issue, you are to report it to the Office of Student Affairs, reception desk, or you can email us at studentaffairs@cmu.edu.jm. This is the same email that you would send any query that you have for the Office of Student Affairs or reports that you wish to make, all right? So the accidental death and dismemberment, it requires a report of any incident or accident within the first 48 hours of the occurrence. All right, so in addition to that as well, when there's an accident and there's a death or of natural causes as well, that too is to be reported within the first 48 hours of its occurrence. And the disbursement for that would actually be sent to the next of kin for that person, okay? So important contact information for the welfare unit is, we use our central email here at the Student Affairs, which is studentaffairs@cmu.edu.jm. The welfare officer, which is myself, D. Ellis @cmu.edu.jm, and the assistant director, which supervises this unit, Mrs. Tisha Walker Brown. Her email address is twalker@cmu.edu.jm. All right, so this concludes my presentation for you this morning. I'll take any questions that you have now.
Abigail is saying right here, does the school have a system or program that allows students to borrow a set amount of funds to pay for the Earn and Learn program? Abigail, I'm not sure I understand what you mean. I don't know if you understand, I mean.
I do not understand. Could you reread that question for me, Archie?
All right, it says, does the school have a system or program? Oh, she means work and travel. She says, does the school have a system or program that allows students to borrow a set amount of funds to pay for the work and travel program? That's what she means.
Well, if there is such a system, we are not aware of it, as we do not offer that in our offices. What I do know is that there are third-party organizations out there that you can attempt to access this money to do this work and travel program.
All right, so there is no system there locally right there. So that's work and travel. Another question here. Well, I'm not seeing another one. So that's on work and travel. Duelia Taylor, Duelia is asking, do we still have to purchase the uniform? I don't think that falls under you. I don't know if it's Walker Brown or any of the other representatives can assist right there. Do we still have to purchase the uniform?
Well, certainly for those who will be coming back for face-to-face classes in terms of our fourth year, but our first year students, your classes will be predominantly online. So you would not be required to purchase uniforms until you will be coming in for face-to-face classes, and we don't have that information just yet.
Yeah, because I think it's important to understand that the circumstances continue to change. Krishmar Stevenson says, Damain, how do I go about applying for the PATH grant?
All right, so as I stated, the PATH bursary grant is accessible to students who were previously registered on the PATH program during high school. So coming from high school, you would have to have an active path number. So that's your registration or your family number, right? So you have to be on the path program. So all the application forms are available online. So you can simply go to Google and type in path bursary tertiary grant form and it will come up in the browser. You can download it there, or you can simply send us an email requesting a copy of that form, and then we will send that form to you. To properly complete the application process, also you have to add a copy of your CXC results to the application when submitting, and ensure that your path number or your registration number is on that form, or else the application cannot be processed. All right. So that's how we are verifying that you are actually a beneficiary of the PATH program.
Okay, no problem. And if you need more information as well, Mr. Ellis provided his email address earlier. It's dellis@cmu.edu.jm. I'm getting that correct, right, Damain?
Correct.
All right, cool. So you can always email Krishma if you need information, dellis@cmu.edu.jm, or you can email the student affairs team overall, studentaffairs@cmu.edu.jm, and they will respond to your query right there.